One characteristic of those wholeheartedly committed to the program of a particular party is that they are not usually good at self-reflection when it is firmly rejected. It took Labour a very long time to recover from Margaret Thatcher's victory in 1979, and the Tories a similar period to change after Tony Blair's victory in 1997. Some delusions, that Jeremy Corbyn was ever electable, have to be cast aside, though if Labour picks its next leader from the left, as it may well do, they ought to get ready for at least a decade out of office. Similarly, the notion of Remain majority across the UK, even if there were ever a period that was true, is destroyed. You can't react to a majority on the scale achieved by Boris Johnson without acknowledging it as a mandate, or a wipeout like Labour's, or the LibDems, without seeing it as a rejection. And while the SNP vote was clearly a Scottish rejection of Brexit, and arguably an endorsement of a second independence referendum, though that will not be certain until the Holyrood elections in 2021, it doesn't demonstrate a majority for independence. To pretend otherwise is to ignore reality. There's plenty of opposition to the Tories, even with their thumping, clear-cut win. But one delusion almost uniformly advanced by their political rivals is actually likely to impede the ability to challenge them effectively. It is this, that the Conservative Party under Mr. Johnson's leadership has moved to the right, let alone that it is the most far-right ever, authoritarian, ultranationalist or any of the other labels blithely attached by opponents. Any honest analysis makes it obvious that this claim is not true in any sense. The UK's tax burden is at a 50-year high, the deficit is still over £40 billion, and national debt is about 86%, almost twice Germany's. Yet the Tory manifesto promises the biggest increase in the size of the state since Harold Macmillan's government, minimum wage increases, and capital spending pledges 15% above the last budget at a higher level than any sustained in the last 40 years. That is not extreme fiscal conservatism by any measure. The benchmark is not Labour's not credible. The Institute of Fiscal Studies plan to spend hundreds of billions, nationalise everything, give everyone free broadband and an owl, and turn rivers into lemonade, as the Orinoco in Venezuela did under Hugo Chavez. It is previous governments and economic reality. By those standards this is much higher spending. Nor has there so far been any sign of social conservatism. Indeed, Mr. Johnson's record as Mayor of London, a more reliable guide than trawling his newspaper columns from 25 years ago, looking for hyperbolic phrases to quote out of context and pretend to be outraged by, suggests the opposite. The government's policies are liberal on most social life. For more on this story, visit the news article link.